Hello everyone, welcome to a new process video today. I'm doing a 6x8 layout. However, on the back side of this one, I actually have this little insert that I'm doing. So that's the start of the layout today, and I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to try something called Pick 3, and look how fancy this is. I mean, I pulled out all the stops here. Yeah, this is an old cardboard box with some stickers stuck on it. That's how I roll. I'm an everyday average scrapper. I'm not fancy. So this is what you get. So it's pick 3, meaning I'm picking 3 things that I have just in general on hand in my stash that don't always get used. So I know there are other scrappers that do this. I know Inky Quill, if you follow her, she does a grab 5. 5 is too many for me. I gotta keep it real, people. I can't handle a 5. 3 I could do. So here are my 3 things. Roller stamps. I have a bunch and I kind of forget that they're there. I forget to use them because they're not in front of me. So I'm going to use something in here, and this is just a little guide to remind me what I have, but then there are other ones in here too. So I'll find something in there. And then I have to use an acrylic piece. So something in here, these are like some random ones that I've had that I had no plans for, that came as a kit or as extras, so I have to use something that's in one of these here. And then I may regret this. Sequins. And this is only part of what I have. There are 2 more little bins like this over my Rascog cart that you can't see. I buy them and I kind of hoard them, but I don't use them a ton. So I'm going to force myself to use them. So this is my 3rd thing. So I have to use some sequin option that's in here. So I don't know how that's going to play out in what I've got here, but I want to give it a try. I'm going to say challenge accepted. I also had already printed this. I made this in Project Life in the app. Just picked this background color because I knew I had several layouts that probably will match. Put some random phrases on it, cut them out, and here is a little word strip. So I have to fit that in there somewhere too. That's all I've got. So I have to start figuring out what to do. I should also mention I have to have a photo flip on here because I want to use both of these, which means I need to find a card that's going to go in between them, plus do the flip. So I definitely have some challenges here today, but I'm ready. So the first thing I thought I would do was try to find the extra card I need. And when I went through my stash of travel-related cards, I didn't find anything that I liked that was in the right color. I was looking for either something like this aged copper, this greenish color here on the bridge, or this kind of burnt orange. Nothing came to me. Those are kind of odd colors, so nothing really worked. But when I went into my randoms, like stash of pattern paper, I did find this little 2x2 square. And I think this matches quite well. That's pretty much the perfect color. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to make my own card, which is fine. So I'll probably just do, I'm thinking either a white background so that it matches this, or a gray so that it matches the pillar on the bridge here. But I'll have to make my own. And I'm thinking maybe something will go in the middle here, circular element, not sure, but I have to do something because I don't have anything at the ready that will work. So while trying to come up with ideas on what to make on this card, I at least adhered the square, so that's on there. Then I pulled out some stuff trying to find more of this color that's in the bridge. Apparently a lot of things don't come in that color or this burnt orange because it's been tough to find things. Wasn't really happy with anything that's in this sticker pack from Paper House. Then I pulled these and I kind of like this one that says love this view, but it's darker. It's a darker shade than I would like of that. And then I thought, well, maybe I could just sort of cheat and use this. It's slightly lighter and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I could use this plus maybe use my roller stamp to stamp something in there. So I'm trying to be creative here and figure out how can I attach this and what could I stamp. So I've picked out some roller options here. I want to do this one. It had an option that says scenic route, which is true. It's a river cruise. It was very scenic, so I think that was the point. So I have this one. But then I also remembered I have this Allie Edwards one that has the time, and I think it's meant for week in the life or day, probably day in the life if it's got time. But I remember we specifically chose the 8 o'clock river cruise because we knew the sun would be going down during part of it, and so we thought the lighting would be good, and then we'd be able to see the city light up while we were on the cruise, which is exactly what happened. It was perfect, but I figured I could stamp 8 p.m. on here somewhere, so really I'm going to use 2 roller stamps. All right, I did the stamping on the label. There it is, came out well, but luckily I did some practice runs, and I remembered another reason why I don't use roller stamps a lot. Because of this problem. I tend to catch edges. You have to press pretty hard into the ink, and then it ends up getting ink all the way across. What I did to combat that was I held the stamp, I took the ink pad, turned it upside down, and just tapped it against here to make sure that I didn't get any edges, and then it came out quite lovely. So that was a good reminder of always practicing the stamp first, and then maybe having to get a little creative to make sure it's going to stamp the way I want it to stamp. Decided to do the 8 p.m. stamping on a little scratch piece of paper I had here that was similar in color, a little bit more of that green shade, which is nice. And so I just stamped on there. I did do a practice run first. You can see like my stamping here is not totally perfect. This one was actually a little better, but you know what? It's fine. It's close enough. I'm not going to worry about it. So that's probably all that will be on that photo, and it'll go up there. Then I've still got this, which will be in between, and I think this is a little plain as is. I do have some Heidi Swapp Color Shine that is called Patina, and I'm wondering if it's going to be close to this. I'm going to try it on a scratch paper, see if the color will go with this or if it's too kind of in your face. If I like it, then I'll put some on here. When I did the test run of the splattering, I really liked it. So here's what this card looks like with it on there. It's almost a perfect match, the colors. So that's still drying, but I like it. And I liked it so much, I decided to do it on this one too, just a little bit to kind of tie those two big colors together. So I have those. I'm just going to set those aside here while they're drying. I need to figure out where this is going to go, if I'm going to use it. I want to. And what am I missing here? I've done the roller stamping, but I need to do the acrylic piece and then sequins. So I have to figure that out as well. For this pocket, this photo will be on top, and I don't want to do anything with that since I've already got some sparkle happening here. And then this will be in the middle, sparkle again. So I decided to do the phrase on this photo, which will be in the back of the pocket. And then when the others are kind of flipped, you'll be able to see those side by side, and the color is a nice match. So I did take care of that. And I think sequins are going to be the hardest. So you know what? I think I'm going to avoid that for a moment, and I'm going to figure out the acrylic part. And I think this is the best spot for it because there's a lot of dead space. So I just need to figure out which one I'm going to use. Given what I have here, both theme-wise and color-wise, I felt like this was the only one of the acrylic pieces that was going to work here. So I think it's going to be this one, and I want to put it there, but it kind of blends in with the water. So then I feel like I want to do it here where it shows up better, but then these are together. So I don't know if I should just like switch up these pockets and do that and just let this be blank or what. I think that's what I have to go with because I don't know how else this configuration would work. So you guess what? Yeah, decision made. That's what I'm gonna go with. So I attached the acrylic and I just used my mono liquid glue there. And I decided to, ooh, it's off a little bit. Let's see. Ooh, good. Wasn't totally dry yet, so I could adjust it. I decided to move it over just a little so it does overlap the more gray area a little bit, but there's enough of it still on this side with this tone in the background that it doesn't get lost. So I'm happy with that. Because I shifted it, you can see a little bit of the glue there, but that will dry clear, so you won't really be able to tell once it's dry, which is awesome. So now that I have shifted those, I have to figure out what to do about the sequins. I don't want to do it as part of the flip, I know that. I'm wondering if I can add it here or if that would be too much with this. This is going to be journaling, so I don't know that I should be doing it there. But I do want it to be on the front, like what people are going to see right away, not when they flip. So I'll have to assess that and look at what I have that will work, and I'll be back. All right, I went through my sequins, and I have picked out these options because I think these are the closest of the colors that might work with what I've got going here. So in here, I'd have to pick out the kind of turquoisey teal ones, do something with that. I could also pull the white if I want. And then here, these darker orangey ones, both the smaller size and this bigger size, I might be able to mix those together somehow and figure out some kind of design here that'll be good. All right, several things happening here. I decided to do one of the dark orange sequins up here. These are all still drying. And then down here, I decided to use them around the little title there because there was a lot of dead space, and then it really brings in those two colors. Now, the other thing that happened is when I was looking at this, I decided I don't like this card. Now it doesn't go. Like this blue up here, I just don't like it. Yes, there's some in the sky, but it doesn't go with the rest of my colors. So I've decided to get rid of that. And while I didn't have anything in my actual travel stuff that worked with those colors, in my general stash of cards, I found this. So that works pretty well. Look at how those colors match. So I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to use that as my card instead of the other one. So once this is all dry, I'll put it in the pockets and see if I still like it. All right, here you have the finished layout. I've attached the flip, so when the album is being looked at, that's how that goes there. So here is close-up of the left-hand side and the right-hand side. I really am in love with this. I didn't know how I would get those sequins to work with a title and all of that, but I think it came out really well, and this is definitely not something I would normally do. So I think it was a successful Grab 3 challenge. And now I have another layout done for Prague. Thanks for watching, everyone.